I don't know that a boycott where you're saying I'm not going to buy something until you start making the thing I want is the best way to get what you want. Really, if you want more of anything from any publisher or any manufacturer, I mean, you name it, the only way to do that is to support the versions of it that exist, and that tells the company that's making a thing that they should make more of a thing.
This is a message brought to you by Patrick and Dale from Challengers Comics. It's pretty good.
In the Midwest, you know the best is there waiting, so come and join the conversation. I still approve, fan and artist and creator too. This is how the challengers do. What? Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. It gets hard and it's a job for the challengers. What? Comics and conversation, y'all.
From
Challengers Comics in Chicago.
This is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with
Patrick Brower.
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 Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
W. Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Del Bush.
Dal.
Del. Del.
Dal.
W. Dal Bush.
Here's Patrick and Dal.
When I put the microphone here, it has a tendency to maybe like curl or flip.
Mm-hmm.
But if I put it where it's straight, it's too low.
Oh. What a nuisance.
I'm just going to talk like this the whole time. Well, I'm doing it quietly.
That's going to be weird for people.
Well, I was going to open this episode with a story from today about how some people in the industry, I say people loosely, can still be so petty after all this time, but it's not worth it.
No. Why stoop to that level?
I mean, it's disappointing.
Oh, for sure, but...
Yeah. And looking back in my notes, since there's several episodes I did without you,
Yes.
the last time I had my notebook was for what was going to be episode 778.
Mm-hmm.
That page became 782.
Oh.
But the only note on 778 was Miles Morales.
Okay, I'm familiar with him. He's a Spider-Man.
I don't know why it said Miles Morales.
Could that be the announcement of the upcoming Miles Morales new solo series?
But why would we talk about that?
I can't imagine. I mean, it would just be that they're doing another Miles Morales Spider-Man book, and it's called Miles Morales Spider-Man, and it's a different creative team, but it doesn't feel like it's reinventing the wheel. It's just a new number one and a different creative team.
They've shuffled his titles before, but Miles Morales Spider-Man was exactly the name of the last one as well. I don't know. I mean, we did just copy over people who were getting it.
Sure, and that's the thing. Like, I would assume that anyone who got the last series would want this one, but I don't assume anyone who wasn't getting the last series would want this one. There's a possibility. We've talked before about how there's an audience that now is semi-new to comics in the last 24 months. So a Miles Morales number 1 would play a lot better for them than a Miles Morales number 38 or whatever it ended on.
Yeah.
Even though in all reality, like, you know, if this book were being published 30 years ago, it would just be Miles Morales 38. No one would consider this creative team to be something where it's like, oh, you have to give it a new number one.
Launch.
It's wildly
relaunch.
Different. It's not. It's just
Start
the next
again.
creative team. So we'll see. As always, like, even if a series ended due to low sales or just, you know, customer indifference, the next number one I usually go up on, and it usually sells out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can you do me a favor and pull up the solicitation for the new Concrete book?
Sure.
I can't remember if it's called Sun and Sand. It's something sand, but sand is the and sand.
It's about
Sky
Concrete
and
being a serial
Sand?
killer, so it's called Son of Sand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, while you're looking for it, I'm going to preface this with, I loved Concrete when it was coming out.
Same.
I thought Concrete was a great concept and well executed.
Super smart book.
It was a super smart book. It was environmentally friendly. It was an eco-friendly book. And I was talking with our good friend Mike Lee about Concrete today.
Stars Over Sand.
Stars Over Sand. And I'm like, did you ever read Concrete? Because at the time I was making the front page slide for the new Concrete book. Mm-hmm. And he said, yeah, here and there, not a ton, but some of it. Mm-hmm. And then he gave his capsulated, this is what Concrete is to catch anybody up, right? So if you wouldn't mind, now I have read Stars Over Sand?
Stars Over Sand.
I've read Stars Over Sand #1.
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind?
I don't think I read
Would you mind reading the solicitation for that book?
Sure. The Eisner, Harvey, and Rubin Award-winning Concrete is back with a 5-part story of amnesia, wilderness, and suspense. Concrete has entered the desert and not come back. Larry and Maureen are frantic. Reports come that he is wandering the nearby arid mountains, covered with blood, attacking people. Concrete, lightning-struck, confused, roams a frightening world he can't understand. Roars tear across the sky. A strange globe rises. His body is sheathed in stone. He thinks he is being hunted. People are a threat. His journey back to life and his friend's dire search against a looming deadline is as strange and tense as any Concrete story ever told. First new Concrete story in 20 years. The Concrete comics focus on real-world issues like overpopulation, sustainable agriculture, and environmentalism. The original 10-issue series won multiple Eisner Awards, including Best Continuing Series, Best Black and White Series, and Best Writer-Artist for Paul Chadwick. 5-issue series. That's it.
Okay, so for those who don't know Concrete, the premise is this. A speechwriter, presidential speechwriter?
Political speechwriter.
Political speechwriter, abducted by aliens and put into this body of concrete. Sealed in.
Mm-hmm.
He becomes...
Think like the Thing.
Yeah.
Basically.
So, basically he's turned into the Thing overnight, right? But it's the real world. There aren't supervillains. There aren't superheroes. And these aliens are gone.
Yeah.
So what does he do with his life? He tries to use it to help the environment.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to use his new body to shed a light on causes. And then he decides to do all these feats that people can't do, like go to the bottom of the Mariana Trench,
right,
or climb Mount Everest or whatever.
Yeah.
All these things that his new concrete body will let him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an environmental treatise, and it's
one of my favorite Concrete stories. It's a one-issue
very
story,
human,
where Concrete starts growing these concrete horns.
Yes.
And basically Maureen in the book is a scientist who's there to monitor this body and trying to understand what it is and how it works. So he's growing these horns, and no one knows what they are and what they do. And his body starts wasting away. It's like his body's turning into these horns. And spoiler for something that came out 30 years ago, it turns out that the horns are basically his beard. So they just cut them off, and it's like, okay, every day you basically need to take a belt sander,
yep,
and shave your forehead.
The same way Hellboy does with
your forehead to keep them from growing out, and then you'll stop wasting away into nothing. Your body will stop digesting itself and turning it into facial hair, basically. And it's and this is just a one-issue story, and that's the conflict. The only conflict is what the hell is going on with Concrete's body? No one knows, and they don't know how to figure it out, and then eventually they figure it out.
Also, at the end of the last original Concrete series from decades ago, he had a baby.
He did.
So there's a little baby Concrete.
Mm-hmm.
Maureen, as you said, is a scientist who's monitoring him. Larry is his best friend, who's going on these trips with him.
Yeah.
And, they publicize these, and they make money by sponsorships and him doing these things.
Yeah, I think one of the conceits of the series is that the cover story is that he's a government experiment.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to say, holy shit, this guy's abducted by aliens. Because that would destabilize a lot of things in the world if that were to come out as true. So part of it is the government, he has to say that he's a government experiment, basically.
So I'm looking for my in for this new series on how to pitch people on Concrete who have never read Concrete before.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted this book to give it to me.
Sure.
Or give me a hook or whatever. And as a longtime Concrete reader, a violent and confused Concrete is something we've never seen before.
Sure.
And it's interesting, right? Do you remember the solicitation you just read?
Mostly.
At the risk of ruining the first issue, it's a very, very Dow complaint.
Oh, that's the premise happens at the end of the issue?
So the whole book is he gets struck by lightning, doesn't know who he is, doesn't know what his body is,
Sure.
and he thinks he's been hunted. He fights you, blah, blah, blah.
Which honestly is a good way in for a property that most people who pick it up now will never have read any issues of.
Yeah, sure.
Like, you want to have it something where, like, don't just make this exposition. Give me, like, a story where I'm on the same footing as the character.
You find out what Concrete's about as Concrete finds out.
I think that works.
And you can tell me after I say this if I need to erase this or not. The lightning strike, last panel of the first issue.
Oh, that's fine. I don't think you need to take that out.
But I mean, like, the whole premise of the book is the next several issues.
Sure. But I mean, I think that's okay to, like, lower people into it, to give us a more gentle, like, who's this guy, what is his deal, and then do the, like, he's going crazy attacking people. Like, if you open with that,
but
I think that's too disorienting for a new reader. It's like, why would I care? Why am I invested in this?
But he hasn't gone crazy. He's not attacking anybody.
But that's issue 2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But
like,
if you read issue 1, I don't know if issue 1 is enough to get you to come back.
I wonder.
It's enough to get me to come back because I know the character and I'm invested in what happens to him.
Yeah, I think
But the first issue is so slow and introspective.
Sure. But I think that's okay because, like, I think of Paul Chadwick as a guy like a Jeff Darrow, where it's like there's the narrative and then there's what this guy's drawing. Like, I think for some artists you're okay with it just being slower and more contemplative because it's like, Concrete was never a book where I need a ton of incident. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I want to see Paul Chadwick draw Concrete, crossing a plains or at the bottom of the ocean or walking across a mountain range or whatever. Like, that's what I'm in for. That's what I would pay money for.
Good. I hope you like sand.
I like stars over sand.
Hmm.
I hate sand, Patrick. It gets everywhere.
Also, I thought when lightning struck sand, it turns to glass.
It does, but when it hits concrete, I guess it just makes him crazy.
Or just makes him an amnesiac.
Maybe both.
So my point in explaining this was not to turn anybody off of Concrete. I hope with the way we prefaced it, it was enough to get someone to say, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm for sure going to check it out. I'm even hearing what you said. Like, I'm still curious about it. I was a big fan back in the day.
Yes,
I think it's got a lot of potential.
But you were a big fan back in the day.
But I think it's got a lot of potential. I think it's, as a concept, I don't think it's dated in any way. I'll be interested to see how Paul Chadwick approaches it in 2026.
It's funny. I originally had all of the
like almost 40 years, right?
Yeah,
like late 80s. Dark Horse presents early issues.
Yeah. I had all the oversized collections when they first came out, like I forget the format.
The big, like, magazine size ones.
Yeah. But I eventually pared them down over the years.
So I'm sure I had the magazine size ones, and I pared them down, and then I think I later bought the smaller digesty size ones that Dark Horse was doing, and then I think I let those go too. So I'm not even sure how they're collecting it now. Probably still the smaller ones.
I do like that there was the there's normal comic size, but Concrete was either tiny or giant.
Sure. Sounds like Concrete.
Yep. Anyway, big fan of the character. Interesting to see where this goes. Really concerned about if I get people to buy number 1, what they're going to think.
Yeah, it's certainly tricky for anything that's this old of a property because you got to assume that a lot of the people who are coming to it are the older fans, right?
Sure.
Like, I don't know that you could do it in a way where it's, by the creator who's been doing it for 40 years, but also make it completely something where, it's new reader friendly. Like, I think that would be kind of frustrating for, like, if this miniseries was just, like, I think they've done this before where Concrete basically, like, is dictating his autobiography to Maureen, and it's just the things that we've already seen him do in the original series. It would be like, all right, that's fine. It would feel like a clip show. Who cares?
Sure.
You want to see it go in new directions, but it's harder to do that when the character has not consecutively, but, over 40 years, a bunch of accumulated continuity. So you kind of have to do it in a way where I think this is probably the best of both worlds, where you create
that was a different Concrete.
You create a context for readers to be brought up to speed on Concrete, but in a way where it's still a new story that's happening. So old readers can feel like they're seeing a continuation of what they were invested in. Because I mean, without knowing for sure, I'd say a book like Concrete, 75% of the readership is going to be old fans. And I mean that in every possible way. 25% are probably going to be people who, have come through comics in the recent years since Concrete stopped being published.
Sure.
And they're going to try it out because, again, it has a specific kind of approach to its storytelling and art that I think is still appealing right now in 2026.
And now a brief interlude to thank our Patreon supporters, including our annual patrons, Usi, Arun Singh, Becca Hilburn and Joseph Coco, Brent Helt, Dal's mom, Dianne Bush, Django Boren of Comic Shop Assistant, Jose and Genevieve Villagomez, Taylor's version of Josh Crowley, Leith Smith of Mission Comics and Art in San Francisco, our bestest wrestling watching pal, Michael Lee, Michael Romanenko, Silverio the Cat, our patrons who have created their own tier, Andrew Troit Aaliyah, my cousin Claudine Neville, our other generous Say My Name pledge level patrons, Andy from Secret Identity Comics in Chester, England, Ben-Hur Benedict Calaguas, Managed Comics' own Brian Garside, Christopher and Jessica Haith of Crooked Dog Comics, Drew Triner and our very own Ashley Edwards, Gareth from Monkey Rocks Comics, my brother George Brower, Heidi D, our beloved comics niece Holly Aitchison, Jacob Sorelli of Kamikaze in Tel Aviv, Israel, Mark Hammond of Aw Yeah Comics, Margie, Keith, Logan, and Malcolm Springham, Matt Armstrong, Mitchell Davies of All Star Comics in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm guessing Troy as well, Morgan Kaiju Perry, Nicholas Fenner, my longtime pal Robert Burns of The Divorce Gun, Ron Payne, Sean Bowers, Tad Eggleston of the 22 Panels podcast, and Johnny Williams, Thomas Nagovin of Century Guild, Walt Grogan, Walt's Comic Shop from Berlin, Germany. If you want to hear your name thanked monthly on this very podcast, in this very voice, head over to patreon.com/challengers and pledge at the $5 Say My Name level. And a big thank you to all our other patrons from the other pledge levels. And now, back to the podcast. Okay, so I can check Miles Morales off of the...
We did it.
Yep.
We did it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Here's a question for you, Patrick.
Yeah.
Are superheroes...
What did you have for dinner?
I know what you had for dinner. Are superheroes a summertime comics thing more than they are another season?
Well, traditionally, the major company crossovers all debuted over the summer.
Right. But I always thought of that as more vestigial. That was more a thing of like, back when it was mostly kids buying comics, you would do bigger, like, bi-weekly shipping for superhero series, big event things in the summertime because kids were out of school and had allowance money and they were looking for something to entertain themselves, or kids buying comics when they were on vacation, that kind of stuff. So the idea was to put stuff like that out more often. I'm assuming that was the rationale. I didn't work in the Marvel sales department at any point in my life, so I don't know if that's true or not, but it always felt like that was why they did that. And it just became a thing of like, as those, adolescents and teens became adult collectors, they expected that stuff to be coming out in that way, and the market had formatted itself towards that. So it's like every summer now you're going to get a big crossover, which but even that's not true because we get crossovers
every
all year
quarter
round.
now. Yeah.
It's not like Marvel's only doing Avengers Armageddon and that's it for the year. I mean, they're doing Queen and Black alongside it. They did how many other events already
DNX
this year?
is also going to be coming out at the same time.
Sure. So yeah, I don't, but I think of it more in the sense of like, I feel like, and this is total anecdotal, I feel like we sell more like superhero graphic novels, trade paperbacks, in the summertime to casual readers than we do in other seasons to casual readers.
Well, I think that for this equation to be accurate, you have to ignore the absolute universe because those are selling nonstop all year long.
Sure.
Oh man, somebody came in today and said, do you have Challengers Green Arrow #1. And I said, you mean Absolute Green Arrow? Like, oh yeah, that one. I'm like, I like your choice of words.
Yeah.
Also, no, we don't.
Sorry. New printing coming soon.
Yeah. Oh, and that younger reader who you'd said, oh yeah, we're the second print's guy. He came in. He's like, did I miss all those? I go, okay, I'm glad you're here. You didn't miss them.
He was a dummy and told you the wrong date because he was confusing the 3 other second prints that were coming out on June 3rd with Absolute Green Arrow because he wasn't working when Absolute Green Arrow came out and sold out, and he forgot.
It's all good.
I think anybody would be excited, not excited, but like relieved to find out that they came in too early rather than too late.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Like no one wants to waste a trip, but certainly if I showed up and they went, oh, it's actually in 2 weeks, it's like, okay, cool, then I didn't miss it.
So when you initially posed your question, I was only assuming comic books, not collections, not trades.
Yeah, I was thinking about it more in collections because single issue comics, it's always predicated on what are companies releasing.
Yeah.
And again, it's kind of a chicken and the egg thing of, I assume more people are reading superhero comics in the summertime because more superhero comics are coming out in the summertime with more of an emphasis from the publishers. So I thought about it more in the sense of like, someone comes in casually on like a Saturday or Sunday. If it's the summertime, I feel like they're more likely to get a superhero graphic novel or trade paperback than if they came in like February or November.
That's an interesting observation. I don't know that I have that same observation.
Okay. Again, I have no data to back this
Sure. I will look forward to it now this summer.
Yeah. Keep your eyes open.
And I'm going to, every time when someone is buying a superhero graphic novel, I'm going to say, aha, superheroes.
Dal called it.
But yeah, that's an interesting topic. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Sure.
I would always assume we're selling less superhero graphic novels than everything else combined.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't think about it as much as like, a portion of the pie, so much as I think like, if we're selling, 10 superhero graphic novels a day in February, an average February day, late February, maybe we're selling 15 or 20 superhero graphic novels on an average day in July. You know what I mean? Like that's how I'm thinking about it in terms of more or less, not necessarily in place of other genres or relative to them. I just mean like, do superhero graphic novels sell easier in the summertime than other seasons?
Obviously, you're not counting it in the sale in February.
Yeah, that's you pick a month and sometimes you're going to run into something where it's like, there's an outlier and like, I'm not counting the sale. I'm not counting, even saying something like November, December. I'm like, I'm not counting gifts for the holidays. I mean, someone comes in, they want a book for themselves to read. I feel like...
Oh, it's Invincible.
Yeah. If only we could get volume 1. I think it'll be back in sometime in June, mid-June, I think is what we're expecting.
Hopefully. I was gonna mention that there were a couple of major stories in the industry in the last week and a half or 2 weeks, but I don't feel really qualified to talk about them because I didn't do any of the research.
Sure.
And
what has that ever stopped us?
At this point, I can't remember what the second one was.
Okay. Well, then let's not.
Oh, I do remember.
Okay.
It was the unionizing of Dark Horse workers.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, a similar occurrence happened a few years back with image creators who were trying to unionize.
I mean, so to be clear, we're not talking about creators. We're talking about the staff.
The workers. Yeah, I'm sorry. The workers.
Yeah, two different things. Like the staff is, production
See?
people.
Already I was wrong.
Marketing, I think. Like basically people who are employed at a publisher in a typically non-creative capacity, which is not to say what they do is not creative. It's just not what we're talking about when we talk about like the creative team of a book. It is salaried employees at a publisher. Yeah, Dark Horse was looking to unionize.
I mean creators along the lines of comics wouldn't be created without them.
True. Specifically, Dark Horse was having their staff looking to unionize because they are part of the various Embracer panoply of companies, some of which are being spun off and some of which are being settled with a bunch of debt. And they were basically like, hey, we need to unionize because they're going to start doing things within this company. Like they already got rid of Mike Richardson.
Yep.
So we need to do something to make sure that they can't just lay off a whole bunch of people and get away with it, because that's usually what companies start to do in these situations. And it's smart of them to do it, and I support it. And I read, I think, a headline that said the Dark Horse voluntarily recognized the union, which is
that happened yesterday.
Terrific, and not the way these things usually go, where companies tend to fight tooth and nail to avoid having to honor union obligations.
You would think that they owned a wrestling organization,
for example.
So yeah, immediately I proved why I should not have been talking about that. I got it wrong from the get-go.
That's okay.
But you're right. It is a good thing,
I think
and hopefully it is better for all those people. I mean, it's no secret within the comics industry as a whole that nobody gets paid what they're worth.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think some of
any aspect, part of the spectrum.
Nope. It was something that the Dark Horse employees had brought up, is that one of the problems with the comics industry and the payment for people who work within it is that, it's something that we've said before, is like, opening a store is, you don't do it because you're doing it for the money, you do it because you love it. And the problem is, a lot of companies over the years have taken advantage of people who work at publishers, because people are doing these jobs because they love them.
Right.
So they put up with a kind of treatment that, one, they don't deserve, and two, they shouldn't have to deal with. So having a union keeps that from happening. Like, I can't remember who the Beat or somebody had brought up, like, yeah, this is no different essentially than the various unions that Hollywood has, where, people who work on crews, they love the movies, they love, motion pictures and TV, and they love the idea of working on sets, and it's been a dream of theirs. And it's like, you could very easily take advantage of people like that. They will work for less because they're doing their dream job.
Yeah.
And if you let companies do that, they will find a way to do it. So you have to have a thing that says, like, no, you have, regardless of how much someone loves their job, you have to pay them what they're worth. You have to pay them what is agreed upon by the union. And, you have to give them certain job protections that are agreed upon by the union. So, yeah, I think that's definitely something smart for the comics industry, because the number of people who will just, if someone's getting $60,000 a year because they've been working at a company for a decade, a unscrupulous company can fire that person and probably get someone to do it for 30 or 40 grand, because that person wants a foot in the door and they'd love to work at a comic company. And oh my God, they've always dreamed of working at publisher X. So a union helps hopefully stop that from happening as egregiously as it normally does.
So what you're saying is I can't unionize.
You can. Go ahead. Technically, your management, Patrick. I don't think you can unionize.
Yeah, also,
your ownership, I think, is the problem.
The union would have to tell me what my wage should be.
Higher than what it is. We'll call that a living wage. It should be a living wage.
And then the other story, which I don't have any information on for real, other than it's happening, is the wannabe boycott of DC Comics for not having enough black main characters in ongoing series.
Yeah, the DC Blackout protest and what is we're looking for? Boycott. That's actually suspended now. The people behind it put it on hold because one of the problems that they found in the aftermath of the announcement of it, which, generated a lot of conversation, and that's smart. And sometimes that's one of the best things that can come from a boycott, is that it's at least drawing attention to a problem. And there is legitimately a problem as far as the representation goes for black characters at a major publisher like DC. And DC's not alone in this. So a reader base saying, hey, we want to see more of ourselves in these stories is a valid criticism, and I think it's worthwhile.
Completely understandable at all points.
The two problems, one that they ended up finding out, was that essentially by asking for a boycott, they were also you would end up boycotting a lot of other minority creators and characters that now you're asking people to not support in favor of getting another underrepresented group more attention. So that the tension of that kind of didn't go well in the community. There was a suggestion that, it's a well-meaning boycott, but it had unintended consequences for essentially another marginalized group being pitted against each other.
Yeah.
The other thing, you and I had talked about this, I don't know that a boycott where you're saying I'm not going to buy something until you start making the thing I want is the best way to get what you want. Really, if you want more of anything from any publisher or any manufacturer, I mean, you name it, the only way to do that is to support the versions of it that exist, and that tells the company that's making a thing that they should make more of a thing. The only way to get more black characters in ongoing series is to buy more black characters in miniseries. It's kind of the only way it can work. I don't think they're going to get the message. You can publicize your boycott, but I don't think DC is going to get the message, if everyone stops buying Absolute Batman, that like the answer is, oh, we got to do more black characters. I don't think it's a one-to-one thing. I don't think they're going to draw that conclusion.
Sure.
And it sort of sucks to say that like you need to reward the company more that you're mad at to get the thing you want, but that is kind of how it works. A boycott can get someone to stop making something. A boycott cannot get someone to start making something. It's kind of how it works.
Well, when it was initially announced, the first thing I thought of was, okay, well, in 2 weeks, Absolute Catwoman #1 comes out, starring a black character and written by a black creator.
Yep, but it's a miniseries.
But I didn't realize there was the caveat of ongoing series only.
Yeah.
But in this marketplace, I mean, almost everything Marvel puts out is a miniseries.
It's true.
I know it's not about Marvel, it's DC.
Yeah.
But I want to say it's not as if DC hasn't tried. However, all the examples I'm giving you either are miniseries or wound up being miniseries.
Yeah, I don't think the people who are upset are wrong to call attention to it. Again, I mean, I think at any time, if you want to see more of something at a company, you have to speak up. You can't just assume that a publisher is going to read your mind and just start producing it. If you want more of anything, you have to be vocal about it. I mean, polite and vocal, and I would say a boycott is still polite. It's them saying, here's what we want, and this is how we're going to get it. Again, my argument would just be like, I don't think a boycott is the best way to entice a company to make more of something. A boycott's great if it's like, this creator should not be employed by your company, so we're going to boycott your line until you've, move them along. That's perfect. That's what a boycott is usually used for. Again, stop making X, and we're going to not buy Y until you do that. But yeah, again, it can't be the other way around. If you're like, I want to see a Gwenpool book, so I'm organizing a boycott of all of Marvel until they make my Gwenpool comic, I don't know that that's how you're going to get what you want.
Their heart's in the right place, but it's just too unnavigable of a situation to immediately rectify.
Yeah, but again, I'm glad it was brought up. I think stuff like that is important to think about and notice. Like, I'm not black, so I didn't even, I didn't realize that this was a problem. And I'm glad that someone brought it up because it's like, oh my God, yeah, that is kind of weird. There should be at least one ongoing series from the #1 or #2 publisher in North American superhero comics featuring a black character. Like that doesn't seem like a big ask. One single one.
But then again, when you look at the statistics, they have less leading characters that are black. You've got Black Lightning, you've got Steel.
It's true. I mean, there's probably, I don't know if it's, I don't want the answer to just be like, I guess there's a Black Lightning ongoing. Like, you've got to have, I don't know, man, figure something else out. Like, I'm not DC. I'm not a publisher. This isn't my part of the job. It's to suggest, like, what is the, magic bullet ongoing superhero comic featuring a black lead character that they're missing the boat on. Like, I don't know, but you got to figure it out. Like, I don't think it's the most pressing problem in the industry, but it's genuinely a problem that I would like to see DC address. Yes. It doesn't seem like this is the biggest deal in the world for them. It wouldn't, break their publishing line to make this happen.
Yeah. A friend had said a day or two ago, they really wanted to talk about Spider Noir.
Mm-hmm.
They like it, but they have ideas on how it could be better. And I thought, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
I don't need anybody else's ideas on how a Hollywood interpretation of a property could be better.
Yeah, man. Like, this is my thing with judging any media. Like, all I ever want to talk about is what was presented to me. I don't want to game out how I would do it differently. I think that's beside the point. When you're judging art, you're judging the art that was made, not the art that wasn't made.
We do it a lot in wrestling storylines.
Sure, but that's more speculation as to where a story could go.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's not saying, I don't look at afterwards and go, here's where I would have done that MJF Adam Cole story differently. No, but in the middle of it, it's like, oh, here's what could happen. Here's what might happen next.
Right.
And that's like the monthly superhero comic thing. Where's it going to go? What supervillain is May Parker's illegitimate child going to turn out to be in the end?
Scorpion.
There you go.
Well, Mac.
Oh, yeah. Should have seen it coming.
It's written plain as day. I don't want to. Did we talk about this right a week or so ago, or I don't know, about all of the weird status quo changes Spider-Man or Peter Parker has had to go through in his career.
Yep.
That all just get forgotten.
I think it's a thing because every writer who comes on wants to put their stamp on it, right? They want their era to have a defining feature. Spider-Man gets a new job, or he gets a new girlfriend, or he gets a new enemy, or he gets a new power, or
and
a new
I'm okay with
whatever.
all of that.
And a lot of that now is okay, well, what in his status quo changes that makes this like, and I'm okay with it because it usually doesn't last, and it gives each run an identity. You know, you can think about, you know, the Dan Slott run being, you know, discrete eras of, you know, Spider Island and
Parker
Superior
Industries.
and Parker Industries and, you know, all that. Like, you can think about the Zeb Wells run as being like, oh, Boomerang was around, or like whatever the mystery character was whose name I can't remember right now.
Oh man, I completely not Carry On. That was
but it was similar to that.
Yeah.
But and like the Joe Kelly run is going to be.
Wow, I forgot all about that.
You know, the Spore character who we just had their villainous origin, and this other character.
Wasn't that Nick Spencer who did that?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Zeb Wells was God. What was the defining feature of the Zeb Wells run? It's weird that all I can remember is the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, which is the Joe Kelly storyline.
Yeah, the very end of it.
The very end of it. I'm sure there was one. I'm sure there was. All the gang war stuff.
Yeah, sure.
With Beetle and wait, was that not? How was that not Nick Spencer?
It started like the roommates all started with Spencer,
because the gang war stuff with Tombstone that was Zeb Wells, right?
Yeah,
I feel confident saying it was Zeb Wells. Yeah, like I think every writer who does Spider-Man, and this is an apples and oranges thing, I think they want their Winter Soldier thing. They want their thing that is the narrative engine of their run. And it has to be something that's like a big deal that draws in casual readers, but also can be done by the end of it, one way or the other.
I look at it in terms of Doctor Who. Specifically, like over the years, there have been tweaks and changes to the mythos and the lore as needed for stories. But then when you get into the series coming back in 2005, and then specifically you get Stephen Moffat, who made some major changes. And then you get Chris Chibnall, who made all of the changes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, took away the defining characteristics and just retooled them.
Yeah. I think the difference is that I think for a lot of people who work on the big corporate characters at Marvel and DC, I mean, a lot of them now are working in other industries as well. So doing superhero comics is like, you know, like fantasy camp sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, a run on this character because they've always loved this character and they always thought it'd be fun to do. I think there's an awareness, and this is just my feeling outside of it as a reader, that they know that this stuff is probably not going to stick. Like, there's no, like with Chris Chibnall, I feel like there was I am putting my stamp on the franchise and this is the new status quo going forward. But I think people who write Batman or Spider-Man or Superman now are like, there's a really good chance that the next creative team is just going to jettison this. And I got to leave it in a place where they can if they want to. Like, even Chip Zdarsky, who did all this crazy stuff in his run, essentially left the character in a place where it's like, I don't know, he just lives in a mansion with his surrogate family. It's not Wayne Manor, but it's someplace else, and it's basically the status quo. There you go.
Yeah.
It's close enough. And someone someday is going to bring back Alfred, and that's it. Like, they'll rebuild Wayne Manor someplace.
Alfred is around now. Dal.
Oh, no.
It's like you didn't even read Matt Fraction's run.
I do. I like it.
Well, Alfred's in every issue, so there.
He is, it's true. But someday he'll be alive again.
Oh, okay. I see. But yeah, you have to take each major status quo as just it's story element for now.
Yeah,
Will it last? Will Peter Parker's sister stay around? Teresa?
right.
Peter's sister Teresa?
Will he still have organic web shooters and spikes? And I'm okay with all of that. I'm okay with a run feeling like it's just one iteration of the character. I think it's crazy to get wrapped up in the idea of all of this has to make sense as one contiguous 60-year story. Like, that's absurd.
You know, the point where Norman Osborn had sex with Gwen Stacy and she had twins.
Uh-huh.
Remember that story?
Oh, yeah. I was not reading it very closely at that point because I was pretty tired of that storyline in particular.
Yeah.
I was not into what Straczynski and Mike Deodato were doing.
Yep.
Just, nope. Don't care. I hope now that Peter Parker and Norman are friends, he brings that up all the time. I banged your girlfriend, right?
Well, okay, but
do you remember that?
But didn't that?
I don't know how they retconned that. I don't know.
It wound up never happening.
Sure, or like one of them was a clone or whatever. I don't care. Fine. Which again, that's all of this stuff. Someone elsewhere will be like, I don't want to acknowledge that, so I'll just say that wasn't really Thanos. That was a robot or whatever.
Got really easy to do with Doombots.
Yeah. Patrick, excited about the Supergirl movie that's coming out?
Not really.
I'm a little afraid it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4.
It feels a lot like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
I want it to differentiate itself. But the good news is it's getting a lot more people to pay attention to the very Supergirl comics.
That's true.
One of the nice things about the fact that DC's more directly adapting something, which is always the thing I appreciate as a retailer, is that they're also adapting something by a constantly working writer. So, you know, you can sell people Supergirl Woman tomorrow, and then you can very easily sell them Helen of Windhorn. And then you can very easily sell them the Visions that just came out in a Marvel Premiere Collection.
Marvel Premiere Collection.
And then you can sell them other Tom King stuff or whatever. Like, it opens the door to a lot more things, as opposed to like a Fantastic Four movie or a Spider-Man movie where it's like, I mean, I guess maybe you could sell people the other for Spider-Man if that's back in print, and then different Spider-Man comics.
It's coming.
Maybe?
It's coming in print.
And there's a million different current issue things that Marvel's doing with like a Spider-Man Punisher team up, a Spider-Man Hulk team up, a Spider-Man Punisher Hulk team up,
which have nothing to do with anything.
Nope, but they got those characters in it.
Yeah.
There you go. We're reprinting an old Punisher thing that Garth Ennis and John McCrea did that has Hulk in it. There you go. I can't believe that Marvel still hasn't learned their lesson on how to actively like.
I don't even make those connections anymore.
Oh my god! It's usually something where I'm looking at the graphic novels. I'm like, why is this back in print? Oh, because this minor character is in a movie or a TV show that's either coming out or just like already came out. And it is still crazy to me that Marvel hasn't figured out how to take advantage of this. I mean, some of it again is just that Marvel Studios does their movies in a different way than DC does. DC at least seems to be doing more like we are going to adapt something. Although even that's not true because it's like, I don't know, someone sees that Lanterns trailer. What do you sell them?
Friday Night Lights.
Oh, there you go. I would have said True Detective.
Oh, okay.
But like, what is the mature readers
Green Lantern
thing featuring Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart?
Yeah.
That's me throwing my hands up in the air because I got nothing. I mean, like, look, you could definitely read the Jeremy Adams Green Lantern stuff. I've seen people picking that stuff up. It's good, but it's night and day. It is not at all what looks to be in that trailer.
Nope. Hal Jordan doesn't swear once in the current Jeremy Adams run.
Oh, maybe he'll start swearing. Like, that'll be the next big storyline. Is like he learns swear words.
Green fucking Lantern. It's gonna be the big logo.
He learns space swear words.
Frag. Feetles Giz.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I should bleep
Are
all
those
those.
swears? I didn't even know those were swears.
I should bleep those. I apologize to
my god.
Any young
Does
children
Lobo have
listening.
a potty mouth?
Yeah. As a Zarnarian, he goes to potty from his mouth. That's one of the characteristics of that race.
Yikes. Glad I don't read that book.
Why do you think people recoil from his smell all the time?
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, because he smells bad.
I thought they were recoiling because he usually kills them if they get very close.
Oh, like that could be too. But yeah, like Supergirl, I'm no more interested in Supergirl than any media adaptation of stuff. Like you could insert the new Spider-Man movie or Avengers.
So is it just that you've gotten your fill of that? Because you used to be very into it.
It was such a growing up when I did.
Was Endgame the end of it?
We didn't have we didn't have representation like this.
Sure.
And I feel bad using that word, but
I know what you mean. You didn't.
Our
feel
character, the
you
superheroes,
were not well served by media outside of comic books,
which is just as well because maybe it would have caused overexposure, or if I was able to buy Captain America toys from being a child on up.
I think I don't know if we talked about this before, but it's certainly like for a type of psychology. I think it being harder to scratch that itch makes you itch more. The idea that, if once upon a time, like if you wanted comics, you'd have to find the comic shop in your town/county where you could actually get them. And then it was so precious and you felt like you discovered something. And then again, like when they first started coming out with like the Toy Biz action figures, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah. I talked about before how
oh my God.
that Christmas in 1990, my mom got me all the ones I hadn't gotten myself. She got me the rest of the collection.
That's so
and
great.
It was amazing.
But yeah, I don't know what it would be like to live essentially now where 1, there's comic shops everywhere. 2, you can buy them in bookstores. 3, you can read them on your phone.
Yeah.
I don't know if the ease of access is something that just makes it less fun. I think that's why I think we're seeing so much a shift over to younger people that are buying comics, because that's a little harder to do than just, watching streaming shows or getting a digital unlimited subscription. Like actually physically going to the store and buying the comic book becomes a little part of the process. It makes you value it a little bit more.
Will I see Supergirl? Yeah, of course. I already have tickets.
Yes.
Will I have a good time in the theater? Sure.
Will you be off that day?
It's a big live action superhero movie, and that's still cool to me. That's still exciting.
And I like a lot of the people involved in it. I think it looks fun at the very least. I told this to somebody else. I already made my peace with it not necessarily being the comic book that I loved.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, Keanu Reeves in a movie called Constantine.
Mm-hmm.
I like that movie.
Sure.
It is not the DC Vertigo character.
It's not Hellblazer.
It's not Hellblazer at all, but I enjoyed the movie.
Sure.
But it doesn't have to be a one-to-one thing. They can be completely different things.
Comics still exist,
Yeah, exactly. That's why I've never understood people complaining about somebody ruining their childhood with a different take on it. Why? The things you watched in childhood or read or whatever. Yeah. They still exist.
I mean, I always take that to mean something where, there was a hope that the media would create a larger fandom, and then that would feed back into, the comics or whatever. Like, if they make a Gwenpool movie and it's terrible, it's like, well, I'm probably not going to get more Gwenpool comics now. And that sucks for me.
Right.
But if they make it and it's good and people love it, then they'll make more Gwenpool comics, and that's probably going to be good for me. Or
sure,
like Jeff.
Or not.
Like Jeff being a big deal now.
Yeah, they need to ease off on Jeff.
Oh, for sure. And like I said to you that I was collecting a lot of Jeff stuff when Jeff was just a character in
a Marvel comic.
Yeah, in Gwenpool, and then
West Coast Avengers.
In West Coast Avengers, in Kelly Thompson books, basically.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is great. Especially when the Guru Hero strips started coming out. But then when Jeff showed up in Marvel Rivals and it became this phenomenon, I was pretty lucky because the design for Rivals is just different enough that when they make that merch, I'm like, no, I don't care. Like, it's cool that it exists, but it's not the version of the character that I
it's not
adore.
a mandatory, I have to get this.
Yeah.
If they did
when they do Power Pack toys, I'm fucked.
A Yotsuba teen drama where she's a surly teen.
Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's going to mean
Nope.
nothing to you.
Nope. It would, honestly, even if, like, there was a Yotsuba not, by Azuma, I'd be like, I don't want to do this. I just want that artist. That's all I want. Again, I always rue the day when they will inevitably turn their focus at Marvel to Power Pack and start releasing Power Pack toys. And then I'm boned. So boned.
Yeah, but if you don't like the property, you can just not get them.
We'll see.
Because
it's easy to say that now in the hypothetical.
First
we'll
of
see
all,
what happens when
they're not going to look like the comic book versions.
I wonder.
I don't think you have anything to worry about.
I certainly don't have anything to worry about soon, but it's always felt like an inevitability in the fact that we are nearly 20 years into the MCU, and they still have not figured out that a power pack idea is like printing money. Makes me wonder about what's going on at that company.
No one will ever know. Ever.
There's also, you don't care about this, but the Wolverine video game is coming out September 15th, and there was a big portion of the most recent Sony live stream that focused on 10 minutes of footage from it.
Oh, I watched it.
Did you really?
I did.
Wow. It's by the same team that did the Spider-Man games, and I can see a lot of that DNA in it, but then it's also hysterically violent.
It is so violent.
I laughed out loud a bunch of times, and I don't know if that's the right reaction.
I love the fact that
reaction.
He's immediately covered in blood constantly, but as soon as he moves, it just goes away.
Sure. I like to think his skin's absorbing it, like a moisturizer. That's a secondary mutation.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when I watched it was some guy watching along with it and screaming in unbridled excitement for how graphic it was and how he loves it.
Graphic. And
it's real graphic.
And look, that's not why I'm getting it. Like, I love the Spider-Man games, and anything that team does in the Marvel universe, I'll want to check out. And I love, a third-person action adventure games, which this is one of those. So it's right up my alley. So yeah, I will definitely be getting it and playing it on the week of September 15th.
The graphics look real good.
Yeah, there's a lot of attention paid to his arm hair, which is
that's weird.
That's the kind of diminishing returns of the graphical arms race, no pun intended, is that you reach a level of like graphical fidelity where it's like, who cares, man?
Yeah.
Someone had to design and animate those goddamn arm hairs. Who cares? I don't need it to look that real. I don't care. It's weird.
Do we know what the story is?
No, they've been a little coy with it. It's definitely something where there's other characters going to be involved. There's a quick montage of other characters that are going to be in the game. They showed Jean Grey was obviously in the trailer that they showed, but confirmed for the game, Sabretooth, Mystique. I think that's maybe it. A few other characters probably, like the Reavers were some of the people he was squaring off against in this gameplay trailer. And also there was a Sentinel in it.
I literally forgot the names of the two characters. Like I want to start calling out people like Cyber and
it was like Pierce and Bonebreaker.
Well, no, those are the Reavers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the tall thin guy and the shorter guy, Mr. Somebody, and this is Larry Hama and John Buscema era.
Yeah.
Or
everyone's slightly redesigned. They do the same thing for the Spider-Man games, where it's like anybody who shows up is going to be in a costume that's slightly different and more detailed than you remember that.
I want Albert and LCD.
Maybe.
Again, Larry Hama, but Mark Silvestri.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do with the... One of the big things for the Spider-Man games was the customizable costumes, where basically, like, across the two games, there were, like, 80 different costumes from all different iterations of Spider-Man. Like, there was one where it was, like, this is the one from an alternate universe where he's a, like, Native American Ghost Rider spirit or whatever. Like, okay, great.
We all remember that one.
So Wolverine, there's a lot of different costumes and iterations, and I'm like, I don't know, like, I'm curious what they come up with.
I would only have him in the Fang costume.
Interesting.
Because that is what he wore.
The Dianne costume?
When I first encountered the Wolverine.
The Dave Cockrum Fang costume?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I was reading Iron Fist, and that's what he wore in that book.
Wow, weird.
Because they'd just come back from a Shi'ar adventure.
I think the costume I would have him in for my playthrough of Wolverine, depending on when... Because you unlock things at different times. Sometimes some costumes you don't even get to like the end of a game. So if you really want to use it, you've got to replay the whole game. The Frank Whiteley new X-Men costume.
Okay.
That's what I would play through as.
Yeah.
Hopefully that unlocks early enough where I can actually use it through the game. Like even for the Spider-Man game that Insomniac had done, there's the Marvel's Spider-Man, which is the costume they designed for the game.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly you unlock the basic comic book generic Spider-Man costume. I had him in that the entire game.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I'm like, yep, basic Spider-Man, thank you.
Yeah, I would never use him in any of the action figure costumes. We were talking about that when we were looking through Marvel Legends that were still available from Alliance, and there's a lot of video game characters. It's like, I don't like. We've never
you
sold
don't need
this
the
one
velocity
before.
suit or whatever.
Yeah. But what about the Bodega Cat Miles suit?
So Miles, I did the I can't remember who was responsible for it, but the high collar sweatshirt one.
Oh yeah, sure.
I really like
that. Was
design.
his second costume.
Yeah, it's like kind of a darker neon pink. I really like it. So I had him in that for most of the game. But then I also had him in. There's a costume that I think was unique to the game it was like a red costume. I'm like, oh, this is really good. Because Miles, I don't have as much connection to, so he can be in other costumes. It doesn't matter to me. But like Peter Parker, I'm like, I don't want him in like video game costume. I want him in comic book costume. There was actually a costume that was like cell shaded. It was the classic Spider-Man costume that's cell shaded, and part of the costume was that there would be like sound effects when you do stuff. And so I had him in that for
like
a
the
big
words
chunk of the
come
game.
out on the screen.
No, like pow or bam and like that sort of thing, and it would be on the screen as like a little hovering thing as you were.
So like the words would be on the screen.
Yeah, I thought you meant like dialogue.
No, I meant physically, like Batman.
Yes, exactly like that. Yeah,
that's neat.
Yeah, I think so. It is going to be as always. There's always a million superhero things, comic book things in general happening alongside the industry that we have to pay attention to and be aware of. It's not just when a new anime season starts or whatever, but you know, sometimes we're informed of it through catalogs and stuff where it's like, why is there suddenly all of these books back in print? Oh, because there's a TV show launching. Like, I think end of the year there's the Vision Quest show.
Yeah.
So we expect a bunch more Vision stuff to either be back in print or brand new series.
Because they sell so well.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a gamble. Again, I think the Visions thing that's out now is probably them preemptively trying, and also like that's ideal for the Marvel Premiere Collections. It's a self-contained 12-issue series that you don't need to read anything else before or after to understand. I can tell you what's going on in other books if you want a little bit of context.
And it's fairly connective tissue as to what happened in a little bit of Scarlet Witch.
My favorite thing of the Visions is kind of lost to time now, but so Mark Waid was writing the Vision in the Avengers comic monthly, and then Tom King was doing this Vision miniseries. But typical for Tom King, the Vision miniseries is wildly different than the Vision that had been appearing monthly in the Avengers comic. So for I think the Marvel .1, Marvel Now .1, I think was what it was called, which also I think first appearance of Ms. Marvel, so you can read a facsimile of that still. They had to do a Vision story of like, Vision gets rid of his emotions, because the Vision that's appearing in the Avengers comic by Mark Waid is your traditional, like, even an android can cry, you know, emotive, trying to understand humanity, emotional robot. But then the Tom King version is like Data from Star Trek, where it's like he has no emotions anymore. Everything's very dry and clinical.
Yep.
And because Tom King just wrote whatever he wanted, which would be a continuing thing through his career at any company, where he would just be like, I don't know, this is what Adam Strange is like now. Okay, great. I hope you weren't using Adam Strange in any comic books. Oh, we're using Kyle Rayner? Sorry, he's being tortured by the Omega Men in this other book. That's what he's up to now.
They're all out of continuity.
Look, I love Tom King, and I'd recommend a lot of those books. But there was clearly a guy that was like, essentially like, I'm going to do my version, and y'all can deal with that. Which is always why it's been funny when he takes over like a Batman or a Wonder Woman. Because it's like, dude, you don't play in like anybody else's toy box. Like, you don't help out with anyone else's stories. You just do your thing, and everybody else has to pivot off of that.
Hey, Maximum Power, man. That all crossed over.
Absolute Power.
Absolute Power, sorry.
And he did. And I was honestly just thinking about that as I said it. Was like, oh yeah, he did a little thing where like, Damian teamed up with Wonder Woman. And it was cute, and I love that Wonder Woman book.
It was 3 issues.
But I definitely would say that, you know, there's people like Al Ewing that are known for being very collaborative in their universe. It's always, and honestly, like Ryan North and Willow Wilson are kind of the same way, where when characters show up in their books, it's like, oh, I feel like they're trying to get it right. They're doing a little bit of homework to make sure that the characters feel like they're in the same universe. But any character who shows up in the Tom King universe might as well be like Stamp with a Black Label thing, where it's like, oh, this is just Tom King world. It's like Bendis characters. Like when Bendis was writing for any company, it's like, do not assume that the Wolverine who shows up in this book is like the Wolverine that's showing up in the X-Men books.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are two different guys. They look alike and they have the same name, but they do not behave the same way, and they will not reference the same things. I guess we'll just have to unceremoniously end this podcast.
There you have it. Thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. And help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.